Hello, my name is Ning Luo. I am an undergraduate student at the University of Toronto. The paper I will be presenting today is titled An Investigation on Strategies for Optimizing Consumer Trust in Chatbots. This paper aims to investigate key factors that influence consumer trust and distrust of chatbots, along with potential solutions for optimizing consumer trust. The creation of this research paper is motivated by the advancement of artificial intelligence as a result of the arrival of the age of big data. Artificial intelligence, known as AI, is the technology that heavily involves data manipulation, with the aim to imitate human capabilities while exceeding humans in accuracy. This technology, of course, has both benefits and pitfalls. Let's begin with its benefits. So how has AI been changing our society? Currently, AI has a variety of implementations across society, bringing us great convenience, with interactive products and services standing out, as they exert the most direct influence on users. These include many products that we use daily, such as generative AI, recommendation systems, virtual assistants, and many more. Among interactive AI-driven products, one of the most frequently used is the Chatbots, an AI-powered software that is able to maintain conversations through natural languages, whether through oral speech or written text. Some examples of chatbots include Siri, ChatGPT, and Mina. A chatbot is implemented using sets of algorithms and a sufficiently large database. The production of each response for a given input follows a specific procedure. First, a set of algorithms examines the input message and analyzes huge amounts of relevant data from the database to detect useful patterns. Then, another set of algorithms generates potential responses based on a database and evaluates the relevance of each response. Finally, a response with the highest perceived relevance is selected and output back to the user. Nonetheless, the chatbot has its problems. To produce ideal outcomes, the AI within the chatbot needs to have access to vast amounts of data, which are essentially collected from the consumers. However, public awareness regarding transparency, privacy, and security issues is increasing, resulting in growing distrust toward chatbots. The most prominent factors that currently contribute to chatbot distrust are algorithm bias, privacy and security concerns, and companies' failure in delivering transparency. Let's talk about algorithmic bias first. This problem is the result of the fact that both the data provided to the machines and algorithms that machines rely upon originate from humans. Thus, many outcomes produced by machines simply are reflections of existing biases in human society. As a result, we have repetition and reinforcement of conventional biases. There are two types of algorithmic bias. The first one is data bias. This issue is a result of inadequate or unrepresentative training data for the algorithm. Thus, the algorithm is unable to make appropriate decisions about groups that are underrepresented in the data sets, resulting in bias. For example, during data collection, one may include fewer samples for groups that are underrepresented or marginalized in the society, either due to the lack of data or implicit bias. The second one is method bias. This issue is resulting from the fact that the method used for training are embedded with biases from developers, as they may favor information that more align with their own belief. For example, developers may implement their discrimination towards certain groups in the society when creating algorithms. So why is algorithm bias concerning? So as we mentioned, it can lead to a reinforcement of long-standing prejudices and inequalities in society. As a result, it worsens existing challenges faced by already disadvantaged groups, such as discriminatory pricing, restricted access, and being forced to adapt to social norms. This can lead to question, fear, and dissatisfaction of chatbot services among the general public. Ultimately, it leads to distrust toward chatbots. Then we have privacy and security concerns, which also contribute to consumer distrust. So to optimize the quality of responses, chatbot companies need to constantly collect contemporary data, even including personal information of the consumers. And this collection of data raises problems regarding consumer privacy. There are many existing and potential issues regarding privacy and security. Firstly, there may be flaws in the computer system used for data storage, which can be exploited by hackers. Secondly, due to the difficulty of tracing harms inflicted on consumer back to their source, the service providers do not need to fully internalize potential pitfalls of the algorithm. Thirdly, sometimes it is hard to detect data misuse, so service providers may go back on their consumer-friendly data policy. And last but not the least, consumers must trade off between personal security and potential beneficial future use of their personal data. Why is privacy and security issue concerning? So as we can see here, there is an unfair bargain of data usage between chatbot service providers during the personal data collection. And as consumers notice this, they may develop a tendency to believe that their potential loss outweighs their potential gain from donating their personal information. As a result, the perceived risk of chatbot increases among consumers, ultimately leading to distrust. Finally, we have companies' lack of transparency. I'll begin with a brief definition. So algorithm transparency means high accessibility and explainability of the decisions made by algorithms. And having algorithm transparency in an AI system means that any user should be able to understand the functioning of algorithm systems and their data usage. This is crucial for improving consumer trust. Nonetheless, there are factors holding companies back from fulfilling consumers' demand for transparency. So firstly, depending on the target audience whom the AI system should be transparent for, different levels of transparency may be needed. Secondly, the database that chatbots rely on may contain sensitive information, and delivering transparency may expose this information, resulting in violation of privacy rights. And thirdly, as AI systems become increasingly complex, their inner workings may be unintelligible to humans, making it nearly impossible to clearly explain them to the consumers. Nonetheless, chatbots' proficient use of natural language gives the user a sense of familiarity and reminds them of human friendliness. And this is known as anthropomorphism of chatbots. Currently, there are two main types of anthropomorphism: anthropomorphic warmth and anthropomorphic competence. I'll first discuss how anthropomorphic warmth works. First, the user experiences warmth during the interaction with the chatbots. Then, the warmth invokes positive feelings within the user, reminding them of human benevolence, similar to the emotional dynamic among human social interactions. The user regards the chatbot as a valuable and trustworthy individual, and thus leading to stronger trust of the chatbots. Anthropomorphic competence works in a similar fashion. So first, the chatbot helps the user solve a complex problem. Then this leads to better perceived quality of information and service provided by the chatbots. And the user acknowledges the capability of the chatbot Ultimately, the user regards chatbots as valuable and trustworthy, leading to trust. So the aim of this paper, as mentioned earlier, is to investigate key factors that influence consumer trust and distrust of chatbots, along with potential solutions for optimizing consumer trust. We have finished discussing the factors that contribute to trust and distrust. So now we are moving on to the solutions. I begin the solutions by first categorizing existing risks of chatbots to make it clearer how to address these risks. There are two categories I made, which are actual risks and perceived risks. Actual risks are real concrete hazards that can directly inflict harm upon consumers. These include algorithmic bias and the dishonesty and unreliability of companies. On the other hand, perceived risks are suspicions regarding potential hazards arising from the reporting of actual risks. Since perceived risks are products of actual risks, companies should place a higher priority on eliminating actual risks. So in the proposed solutions, companies can eliminate actual risks by breaking down into two parts. So first, they can aim to reduce algorithmic bias by documenting every usage of data sets and always examining them in details, and also documenting key information about algorithmic models to identify potential unfairnesses. Then they can improve their reliability by enhancing the security of database systems and also minimizing data misuse, which is done in a similar fashion as reducing algorithmic bias. Then companies can aim to reduce the perceived risk of chatbots by first delivering transparency in appropriate fashion. They can do so by first determining the core consumer group, then deliver information in a concise manner. And on top of that, they want to prevent AI over-appreciation, which is harmful to the consumers too. Then they can amplify the effect of anthropomorphic attributes of the chatbots. Can do so by first identifying the type of relationship that consumers demand more, and then adjust the chatbot response accordingly by modifying the algorithms. Last but not the least, this paper also suggests aspects for future research. So future research are recommended to identify the relationship between actual risk and perceived risk of chatbots, and also examine the influence of different information disclosure on consumers' perception of AI products. Thank you for watching.